My name's Andy Duff. I'm currently Director of Income Generation at the Community Foundation for Everton Football Club, formerly Head of Commercial at Wrexham, having had a corporate career and also started my own business. A typical day usually starts with a good half hour of admin on the computer. I'll probably receive 50, 100 emails a day. So clearing those emails, 8:30 till 9 in the morning. I work over two sites. I've got an office at Goodison Park. I also have an office at the Live building. So my team is split over two sites, face to face with my direct reports. What is going on in their departments is critical. And then really lots of meetings. Usually I try and clear most of my meetings early doors, first thing in the morning or last thing, to give myself a chunk of time to actually produce some work in the middle of the day. But with a broad team and pretty broad responsibilities, I manage a range of stakeholders on behalf of the club. A lot of my time is general administration, business admin, keeping on top of the emails, and massive amount of communication to manage those stakeholders. My route into VSI was really clear and really simple. I'd had a corporate career spanning 10 or 15 years. I then started my own business, which I ran a sports marketing agency for, again, just over a decade. And VSI was a vehicle to help me move full-time into the world of sport, and particularly worked at the club side of a football operation. I was had to acknowledge that while I might have had significant professional experience, I didn't know the industry of sport and I didn't know the industry of football. So I needed to do two things. Firstly, acquire that knowledge, of what it was like to work the sports side of that rather than the business side. And secondarily, very clearly, to get the network that came with that. So that's both my cohort that was on the course and then the alumni network that I now have. And so, VSI was a stepping stone to achieve that transformation really in a career and make a career change for me as I got into my late 40s from a business side into leading a sporting organisation. If I look at sport first, and again, I'll talk maybe first around the VSI programme and the impact of that. The single biggest change that I would say sports organisations face, rather than, I'll call it general business or a FTSE 100 company, it's the vast array of stakeholders that need to be managed. In a regular business, you might have customers, you might have a board, you might have internal relationships, but you don't have fans and you don't have huge public interest at a global level. So managing that reputation and that huge network of stakeholders is the fundamental difference I took from the VSI programme that I would take out of my general business. Life in general, leadership, decision making, and managing people, critical things. And if you can give some kind of leadership with humility and direction to the people you're both in charge of and heavily influencing, then they're learnings that are invaluable in the world of sport. Listen, I think it's really clear. The world is probably changing at a really fast pace, and I think the industry of sport is changing even faster. So critical to me is have a flexible mindset. We can learn from the past, we can look at the way things have been done, but that ability to take the best of your experience, apply your judgment, and realise that tomorrow will not be the same as today is a critical thing. The other piece is around lifelong learning, if you call it that. What the knowledge we have today is great, but that ability to say, I need to continue to learn, I need to continue to change, is critical. And then in terms of capabilities, the biggest thing for me to succeed is around decision making. Make a decision quickly with your best experience and your best judgment, but that's a critical skill to have in order to move things forward. I'm most proud of is I did a startup business literally from scratch. with one part-time employee. So building that business from that stage to a £5 million turnover agency, the single thing I'm most proud of. And what will come from that, the opportunity, if I look back, to give some people the first jobs in their life, and the influence that I would have had of those people. So we had a number of graduates join us, and that ability to kind of actually give people and set professional standards and the tone for the rest of their career. I'm still involved pretty much with everyone that worked for me over a 15-year period at that agency. Still write references for them, and still advise them and talk to them about how their career is going. So that was a thing that, starting some of those individuals off on their career. Within the football world, the 12 months at Wrexham and taking what was a supporter-owned club and professionalising that operation, we grew it by 400% in 12 months, and adding all of the standards, the systems, the processes in running a full, proper professional football operation, again, was just such a unique experience and something I'm very proud of.